What's going on? It's your boy Jac Reacts back at it again with another one. Y'all know we gotta get these videos out this year. Got a similar drink. It's a nice day outside. Today we're gonna watch killers who showed no remorse to the families in the courtroom, man. I know this is gonna be crazy. Ready to go get a little sip, you know what I mean? Let's get in tune.
This is Jeremy Christian, who was arrested for the murder of two men on a Max light rail train in Portland, Oregon. In May 2017, Christian stabbed and killed 53-year-old retired Army officer Ricky John Best and 23-year-old Talisin Mirdan Namkai Mecha. He also stabbed 21-year-old Micah Fletcher, but he survived. What happens next is the moment where it all began. Christian was captured on tape screaming anti-Muslim and racist slurs at two black teenagers. His behavior didn't sit well with several passengers. They confronted him and barred him from the frightened teenagers who had moved to the back of the train.
In situations like this, y'all think folks just had a bad day, or like he really just got the hate in his heart where he just wanted to just be an ass to everybody around him? Like, come on, bro, what you got going? Nobody want to deal with that shit. Oh, he tweeting.
Further attempts to de-escalate the situation resulted in Christian brandishing a knife,
like, throw to the ground.
Eventually stabbing the victims. But it doesn't end there. Here is Christian leaving the scene. After his 12 seconds of madness, Christian fled the train. Several passengers followed him as they called 911. Eventually, the police arrived.
They put a bag on bro's face.
He killed two people. Killing two people in broad daylight isn't enough. It's what happened in court that left the judge and jury in disbelief. He was charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Not only did he show no remorse for his actions, he threatened to kill one of the relatives of a victim in court. During the trial,
look at his haircut.
The victim's relatives read a victim's impact statement. This is Christian's response to the statement.
Whoa.
Christian was eventually...
Hey, y'all think his family... Hey, man, dude. I ain't even finna get to it.
Sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms.
He tweeted.
During the trial, evidence of his criminal past came to light. It appeared that Christian had assaulted a woman and shouted racial slurs on another train the day before the murders.
No, bro, you're a punk.
Oh, looks like we got a Christian or Muslim bus driver. I'll stab you too.
He was a self-described white nationalist and a far-right extremist.
Bro, just racist,
the judge added 25 years to his 2 life sentences for these other charges. However disrespectful Christian was, it was not as disrespectful as more.
And I'll tell you point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for Tracy and
Damn.
We take you to Polk County courtroom where Randall Moore is facing trial for the murder of his ex-wife, Therese Ann Marie Lynch. In November 2011, Moore kidnapped...
Hey, man, please, y'all. Men, please don't be going crazy over no females where you gotta go murk something and throw your whole life away, bro. It's more women out here than it is men, Jay. You gonna find you something. Just relax, man. I'm gonna be thrown off.
Sexually assaulted and killed Lynch. It all began when Lynch left Moore and filed a protective order against him. But Moore wasn't a man that let go easily. He kidnapped Lynch and set up a hostage situation. This is Officer Todd Rowland, who shot Moore as he responded to the cries from the apartment. This was moments after Moore shot Officer Rowland. Fortunately, he survived the shooting. In a phone call with 911, Moore explains why he murdered his wife.
Tell me whatever you want. I want to do it.
Why are you doing it?
I'm telling you, all I wanted was my son. I just wanted to see my 7-month-old baby. That's all I cared about.
You essentially assaulted her.
Police were able to breach the house and arrest him. Moore nodded when Judge Joel Novak confirmed that he had been found guilty on all charges.
The court doesn't allow me to punish you any more than I'm doing now. If I could, I would.
The judge allowed the victim's family to read their victim impact statement. What happens next is one of the most disrespectful moments that have ever happened in the court of law. As Lynch's mother took to the stand and read a sorrowful statement, but Moore got in a few words. Listen as Moore interrupts Lynch's mother's victim impact statement.
He hated you. You're a loser.
But Moore wasn't done. When he was allowed to address the court, he showed no remorse for his crimes.
And I'll tell you point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for treason and death.
He told the victims' families so. Moore also tried to justify his crimes. The only semblance of an apology from him was to Officer Todd, whom he shot. However, Judge Novak had the last word.
Cop too?
He berated Moore for his evil behavior and expressed shock at such a level of heartlessness.
The court doesn't allow me to punish you any more than I'm doing now. If I could, I would.
In the end, Moore was sentenced to 3 life sentences for
Damn.
Lynch, 25 years for shooting police officer Rowland. That is so many years to spend behind bars.
3 life sentences, bro. What? Whoa. 3 life sentences, bro. Y'all think it's worth it? You really think that's worth it?
But is it as bad as life sentences without the possibility of parole? That was the case of Camilla Gamet. This is Camilla Gamet.
Take a drink for
The
that.
31-year-old is in court for the murder of her 38-year-old boyfriend, Marcel Hill. The couple lived together in Michigan, and in May 2018, Gamet attacked her boyfriend in a rage. She smashed the entire apartment and used several items as weapons. The court heard that when the police arrived following calls from the neighbors, Hill was dead, and Gamet was covered in blood. They recovered a bloody frying pan, a knife covered in blood, and a smashed floor lamp. Prosecutors said that she stabbed her boyfriend multiple times with a knife.
We have no choice but to send her where she will also die.
Oh.
Camilla wasn't finished there. Wait till you see how she defended her actions in the courtroom. During the trial, Gamet claimed that she thought that her boyfriend was an assailant or intruder, and that she stabbed him in self-defense. The defendant's story didn't stand up to scrutiny because she would have recognized the boyfriend or his voice. Gamet's version of the event could have convinced the judge if Hill had sustained 1 or 2 stab wounds. However, the evidence presented in court showed that Gamet stabbed Hill 12 times and hit him continuously with a frying pan.
Damn.
You stab, you stab, you stab, you stab, you stab until he was dead.
Still, she insisted that it was all in self-defense, that she was a victim of their lies. Here is Gamet sticking to her story.
Basically, a trial, the way I was portrayed, mostly everything was lies. There was a little bit of truth, but mostly I was convicted off of lies.
Her claims did not impress Judge John McBain. Diana Banks, a member of Hill's family, was called by the court to deliver a victim's impact statement. What Gamet did as her victim's own mother took to the stand would send chills down your spine. As Hill's aunt read the statement, Gamet showed no remorse, rolled her eyes, and even smiled. When the act was done, Gamet reacted. This time, Judge McBain wasn't so nice and threatened to tape her mouth if she continued interrupting the woman.
You're gonna shut your mouth or I'm gonna have some duct tape put on.
Damn.
Alright, we'll wait here for a moment till we can get her quiet.
The threat didn't stop Gamet. In the end, court officers could not find duct tape, and Aunt Diana was able to finish her statement. But Gamet's behavior has already angered the prosecutor. Before she was handed her sentence, Judge McBain told her what he thought about her and the crime she committed.
I agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well.
Oh, man.
You know, if this was a death penalty state, you'd be getting the chair.
The court considered her history.
I ain't heard no judge say that before. He said, I hope you die. He said, you're going to die in the same place. You're going to die too. He ain't playing. That's wild.
Of domestic abuse.
Never
Gamet was
seen
sentenced to life imprisonment without any possibility of parole.
Damn.
It only gets more disrespectful from here. And also with a similar sentence, we have Keith Allen Ferguson. This is 40-year-old Keith Allen Ferguson, who police said killed his wife, Tiffany Ferguson, and father-in-law, James Weber, in November 2014.
What?
Ferguson, who is from Kalkaska County, Michigan, is charged with 12 felony counts, which included first and second-degree murders and kidnapping. 42-year-old Tiffany Ferguson has moved to end her 17 years of marriage with Keith Ferguson. During an argument about the divorce, Keith assaulted Tiffany, shot and killed her as their 4 kids watched.
Oh,
Unmoved,
man.
Keith drove the kids to Tiffany's parents' house, where he fatally shot Tiffany's father.
For what?
After murdering his father-in-law, Keith ran to a neighboring house, took the owner, a 59-year-old woman, hostage and barricaded himself inside. The situation lasted for 7 hours before Keith surrendered and released her. When Keith went to court, he showed he was anything but remorseful for his actions. During his trial, Ferguson appeared bored by the whole court process. He frequently cursed the judge, court officials, and everyone present.
He flicking off people.
I'm not doing this for these stupid cameras. Inbreds.
Before the judge delivered his sentence, Tiffany's best friend, Carla Seating, read the victim's impact statement. She noted that Tiffany had been living in fear of Keith and that she knew that Keith was trouble. Here, Keith revealed that he had no desire to see or communicate with his kids again.
Alright? Because of the respect and the safety of my children, I'm not saying nothing because they're gonna see this. They don't need to hear that.
Prompting Judge George Mertz to question his sanity. As part of a plea deal, Keith pleaded guilty to the murders of his wife and father-in-law, and the other 10 charges were dropped. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the chance of parole.
Yeah. Man, like, do y'all, like, for real, man, are these situations worth the rest of your life? For real, like. Dang. Sounds going crazy.
Just when you think humans cannot get any more humane, we meet one of the most malicious cases
Hey, bro, funny as hell.
O'Neal III. This is 29-year-old Ronnie O'Neal III. Ronnie is in court for the double murder of his 9-year-old daughter, Ron Nevaeh O'Neal, and 33-year-old girlfriend, Kenyatta Barron, in Riverview, Florida. On the evening of March 18th, 2018, Ronnie fatally shot Barron and struck his daughter multiple times with an axe until she was no longer with us.
Someone outside, and then I just saw my dad hit the whip in the axe. And then he went in the garage that followed him. He put me on the ground, and then he had his foot on top. I was laying my stomach, he had his foot on top of me.
He stabbed Ronnie O'Neal IV, his 8-year-old son, and critically wounded him. On the night of the murder, Barron called 911 screaming before suddenly hanging up. Less than 10 minutes later, Ronnie called 911, claiming to be attacked by white demons. Accused Barron of trying to kill him. He then gave his home address, but Ronnie didn't stop here. Believing they were all dead, Ronnie poured gasoline into the house and set it on fire.
Oh, man.
Fortunately, his son was able to escape with burns and stab wounds. Detective Mike Blair attended to him and ensured he was taken to the hospital. Luckily, he survived. After setting the house on fire, Ronnie fled, but the police were able to catch up with him, and he was arrested. If you thought someone that did such heinous crimes would try to act pleasant in front of a judge and jury who have his future in his hands, let this change your mind. Ronnie's trial began in 2021. He insisted on representing himself and was psychologically cleared to serve as his attorney. What happens next is hard to hear. During the trial, Ronnie cross-examined his son, who had fully recovered from the stab wounds and burns Ronnie inflicted on him, and is testifying as a witness for the prosecution.
I hurt you that night of this incident?
Yes.
What you think he gonna say?
I did. And how did I hurt you?
He stabbed me.
His son told the court the events surrounding the night of the tragedy. However, Ronnie claimed that his son had lied about the events and insisted that the recording the prosecution submitted as evidence was forged. Initially, Ronnie claimed that he was acting in self-defense and filed motions.
The 8-year-old
judge
son
rejected it. Ronnie was found guilty of 7 charges against him, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of aggravated child abuse, and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. But he didn't put it to rest then. After his sentencing, Ronnie admitted that he wasn't sorry for his crimes.
What?
Before Ronnie was sentenced, Judge Michelle Cisco, who has been in the judicial sector for almost 20 years, said this.
This is the worst case I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
Ronnie was given 3 life sentences without the chance of parole. If you thought these cases were disrespectful, watch this.
Daddy.
Man. Hey, like I said before, y'all drop something in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, go do all that. But is it worth it? Like, Is getting this time doing them crimes, is it really worth it? Y'all let me know something, man. I'm getting blind, shit.